guys, and welcome back to my channel, All That Jazz. So, first things first, I missed you guys. I know it's been months since my last video. I hope all is well with you and your families as we roll into this holiday weekend. It's been a fucking heat wave in Chicago, so I have been staying cool and trying to be inside as much as possible. For any of you who are returning viewers or my subscribers from my Stranger Things content, I will finish my last two entries in my Stranger Things 5 rewrite soon. I am about done editing episode 7. I kind of would say I did myself some justice sitting on it because I did have it done around Father's Day. But now that I'm going back and re-listening to it, I'm taking some things out and incorporating new things that I just think you guys would enjoy more. So hopefully I can have that completed and done by next weekend. So fingers crossed. I also apologize when I disappear. I just have this thing where I don't know. I feel like content creation is already so oversaturated. I don't never want to do content just to do content. I want to do a video and do content when I feel guided to do so and when I actually have something to say, Yeah, so that brings me into today's topic. So let's get into it. Okay, so recent reports indicate that Miramax is moving forward with a new Halloween movie to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the franchise. Now, there's nothing officially confirmed yet, no distributor locked, but multiple outlets are now reporting that this is happening with the release date window lining up for 2028. Now, initially, my assumption was that this was going to be another direct follow up to Halloween Kills, continuing that same trilogy, that same timeline. But from what's being reported, there is no script, no set timeline, no direction, no plot or anything in place at this time. And that got me really excited. Okay, so I did do a full Halloween ranking video last Halloween. If you haven't seen it, I'll link that in the description. But Halloween has always been one of my favorites in the horror genre. Even with all of its flaws, I can honestly say Chucky, Freddy, and Michael Myers, they introduced me to horror, honestly. Because of that, I feel like I'm pretty deep in all the different timelines this franchise has created over the decades, and I actually feel like I have a strong idea of where in this timeline I think a new trilogy could live, as well as a few mistakes I think this movie needs to stay away from. So let's get into it. Now, here's the issue nobody wants to say out loud. We have now watched Michael Myers die, definitively, permanently, this time we mean it die, more times than I can count on one hand. We've watched Laurie Strode survive him, then get haunted by him, then confront him, then kill him, then watch him come back anyway, 4 separate times across 4 separate timelines. The 2018 trilogy alone closed that loop twice. Michael died at the end of Halloween Kills. No, wait, he did it. He died at the end of Halloween Ends. Laurie stabbed him, torched him, shredded him in the wood chipper. For good measure. There's no new version Laurie faces Michael one more time that doesn't feel like diminishing its return at this point. The well isn't just dry, it's been dry, refilled, and drained again 3 separate times. So, with that being said, if this Halloween movie wants to actually mean something, it has to stop being a Laurie Strode movie. Now, let me get all of my absolute hell no's out the way of what I do not want to see in this movie. If I were pitching this as a movie to Miramax, this is everything I would tell them to hell with. No Laurie Strode. I'm gonna say it again. No more Laurie. Her story is finished. It was finished after H2O. It was finished after Halloween Resurrection. It was finished after Halloween Ends. Let her rest. Now, that also means no Allison and no follow up to her and Corey's story after Halloween ends. That chapter is closed. We do not need to know what happened to them after the fact. Dragging that thread forward just pulls us back into Laurie's orbit, which is exactly what we're trying to get away from. No more Dr. Loomis. Now, as much as I love Donald Pleasant's performance, across the franchise, Loomis has had more screen time than anybody outside of Michael and now Laurie with this new trilogy. He was basically the anchor holding the whole thing together. The guy who's been chasing Michael for years and knows exactly what he is. We don't need that voice anymore. Okay? Losing him, that's in fact the point. And honestly, that goes for any character built in its mold. Dr. Sartain in 2018's Halloween is basically Loomis 2.0, the psychiatrist who's secretly obsessed with Michael. We do not need that trope in every single movie. Let this one exist without a psychiatrist trying to explain Michael to us. Been there, done that. We've seen it. We don't need it again. No more Haddonfield. Now think about it. Outside of H2O, literally every single entry in this franchise has been set in Haddonfield. We've seen it in 1978. We've seen it in 1988, in the 90s, in the modern day now. Same town over and over, just a different year stamped on it. A change of scenery means new characters who aren't shackled to 30 years of established geography and or the history of the town. It means new set designs, a new town's personality, new visual language for the kills. No more Myers house, no returning street names, no Easter egg callbacks. Again, recycling the same been there, done that, wash, rinse, and repeat cycle. It's time to expand the lore outside the city of Haddonfield, Illinois. Nothing centered around Smith's Grove. Michael's institutionalized years have been referenced, flashbacked, and implied a dozen times over. We don't need a prison set psychological character study. This is not what this franchise is for, and frankly, it's been done indirectly already. No modern day setting, okay? Modern technology just kills the plot for me. It kills the fear. Between cell phones, security cameras, instant background checks, laptops, a mass killer in 2026 can get identified so quick. It would be so easy to Google a masked killer and to find out all of Michael Myers' lore. Some of the tension the original films had just doesn't exist anymore when everyone has the accessibility of technology. And honestly, if I do think about the opening and Halloween ends, that flashback to 1978, that sequence was so fucking good. If they lean into a period setting and do it right, that would eat down. I think that would be perfect. Which then leads me into no older Michael. Okay, I'm sorry, but we just spent an entire trilogy, 2018, 2021, 2022, watching a 60-something Michael Myers battle a 60-something Laurie Strode. We don't need to see that dynamic again. If this movie exists, there needs to be something we haven't seen in a long time. A young, spry Michael Myers. OMG, I really had to come back and add this one because I can't believe I left this out of the biggest mistake H50 could make. Absolutely no remake of any existing Halloween movie should be done. We've already did this. Rob Zombie remade the original Halloween, twice technically with his own sequel, and gave us his versions of both 1 and 2. We don't need another retread of a story we've already watched play out in the original timeline. If this movie exists, it needs to be new ground, not a reimagining of something we've already seen before. Point blank, period. Well, if you've made it this far, I'm sure you're probably thinking, well, what the hell is left then? Like, what else can we do with him? I'm getting there, okay? Give me time. Let me cook some. Let me cook. Now, here's something a lot of casual fans don't know. Halloween was never supposed to just be about Michael Myers. John Carpenter and Deborah Hill's original plan was for Halloween to become an anthology series. A new self contained horror story every installment, all set around the Halloween holiday, none of them connected by one villain. Michael was supposed to be a one and done story. Now, that plan produced exactly one movie, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. No Michael Myers. Killer robotic masks, a small town conspiracy, and a genuinely bizarre and ambitious folk horror plot. Audiences hated it. They walked in expecting a slasher sequel and got something else entirely. And the anthology idea died on the spot. Michael came back in Halloween 4 and the franchise never looked back. But here's the thing. Halloween 3 has had 40 plus years to be reevaluated. It's a cult classic now. People actually get it now in a way 1982's audiences weren't ready for. So my pitch isn't bring back the anthology and drop Michael. It's actually the opposite. Give the anthology structure, a standalone story unconnected to the existing mythology, but keep Michael Myers as the shape at the center of it. A true Halloween 3, as if the season of the witch never happened or never existed, only as its own strange little side story. This time, you have the chance to do it right. New characters, new setting, outside of the box, and more expansion. Now, here's where my pitch would start. It's October 1978 after all of the events of Halloween 2. We can have a flashback and see Loomis trapped in the operating room with Michael, the explosion, Michael staggering out of the flames, fully engulfed, and then taking some steps towards Laurie and collapsing. Okay, so from that point, we would cut to outside of the Haddonfield Memorial Hospital. Of course, we as the audience would already know the ambulance that's leaving has Laurie Strode inside. Now, following Laurie's departure in the ambulance, I came up with a few options on how they could continue this moving forward. Option 1, we have another switcheroo moment like we saw in Halloween Resurrection. Firefighters are still inside of the hospital after the fire goes out, going through wreckage, and of course, they find Michael's body, burned, unconscious, presumed dead, or close to it. He wakes up, kills one of them, and walks out of the hospital dressed as a firefighter. Yes, I know we've already seen this done before, and because I've been big on been there, done that, I'm more inclined to decline this option. Option 2. He's found, whether by paramedics, firefighters, etc., but he's sedated and taken to a secure location. His burns and wounds are treated. He's wrapped in bandages like a burn patient. Michael wakes up and kills everyone in the facility and leaves. This again will probably be an option I declined because if he is processed as a patient and someone knows he's alive, there is a paper trail, a location, and maybe even police involvement, and it works against this whole nobody's looking for him premise like the rest of my pitch depends on. And then we have option 3, echoing the other end of Resurrection. Michael's body is found and it's taken to the morgue. He wakes up on the coroner's table, and right as the examination is about to begin, he wakes up and we go from there. But again, this one doesn't work because a body at a morgue again means a paper trail and people will know that he is still alive. And if he's killing these people as he escapes, there's going to be a dead body count that's going to lead back to him. So I would be inclined to reject this option as well. And then lastly, option 4. He never gets found in the first place. While paramedics and firefighters are moving in and out of the building, working the actual fire, we get a shot of his body laying there in the wreckage. And then it moves. He gets up, and instead of walking out the front where everyone's working, he takes a different way out, a basement exit, a service hallway, something no one's watching because all of the attention is on the fire itself. No one ever processes him as a body, alive or dead, which means there's no trail at all, no morgue records, no coroner's report, nothing for anyone to ever find or question later. And I honestly feel option 4 will probably work best, not because it's the flashiest, because honestly, options 1 and 3 both had more of a moment to them. But the more I sat with it, the more I liked that this one doesn't ask the audience to accept a body double or a wake up on the slab reveal that echoes something that's already been done, especially because we're trying to get away of the been there, done that scenario that this franchise already has. It's not building on top of an old device, it's just quiet, simple, and plausible. Chaos is everywhere, no one's watching that one hallway that matters, and he just walks. That's honestly scarier than any other alternatives. Nothing dramatic or crazy has to happen. He just simply slips through. And instead of him staying in Haddonfield, hiding in the one town where everyone will be looking for him, he runs. Because for the first time in his story, Michael isn't a legend yet. Nobody outside of Haddonfield knows his face. Loomis isn't tracking him. There's no myth built around him. He is just, for the first time in the franchise ever, a violent, silent stranger nobody's looking for. That would be my opener right there to the movie. Okay, now after the opener, we're going to jump a couple of years. I think 1982 would be a nice jump. And then from there, a new town, new street, new kids, new environment, new feel. But again, all of these people would never have heard the name of Michael Myers, his origin, his history, nothing. And this time, there is no Loomis, no one else coming to stop him. Okay, so here's where I take it even further, because I don't think this movie should be a standalone film. I think it would be good as a trilogy. But before I lay it out, one thing I think really hurt David Gordon Green's Blumhouse trilogy was that Blumhouse didn't seem to have a full plan going in before they released Halloween 2018. And you can feel it by the time you get to the third film. I actually didn't mind Corey's character in Halloween Ends, but he was too little too late. If they'd planned this out as an actual trilogy from the start, Corey would have been introduced at minimum in 2018's Halloween, or even at the start of Halloween Ends, instead of spending the majority of the movie with the town chanting "It ends tonight" with no real premise, just chasing the wrong man for the entire runtime. Corey's story could have started early so that his eventual showdown with Michael felt earned, instead of feeling like filler for most of the movie that was supposed to be building toward the final confrontation between Laurie and Michael. So if I'm pitching a trilogy here, it needs an actual plan from movie 1, not something figured out as they go. So, with all of that being said, if I'm pitching a trilogy, here are my 3 movie options. Movie 1, set in 1982, Town A. Michael, 24 years old now, newly escaped and healed, testing what he's capable of without walls, without Loomis, without anyone who knows what he is. For the first time in his life, he's genuinely free. This is closer to the original film's slow burn stalking. He's cautious, almost curious. New town, new street, an ensemble cast of teenagers and townfolk we've never met before. And I also don't think there needs to be one designated final girl carried throughout all of these movies. Let different people survive or not survive each time. That's actually closer to what made the original film scary in the first place. Nobody was the main character until the story made them one. Movie 2, set in 1985, Town B. 3 years later, a different town entirely. What happened in the first movie didn't stop him. It fed something. He's more confident now, more brutal, starting to become the almost supernatural force we recognize from later films. Brand new cast again. No returning survivors from movie 1 dragged back in. This isn't about him hunting one person across 3 movies. It's about watching him get worse across 3 separate towns that never see him coming. And lastly, movie 3, set in 1987, Town C. The final unleashing. Full predator, hunting for the pleasure of the hunt, not just survival. Another new town, another new cast, but this time somewhere geographically closer to Haddonfield than the first 2, without him consciously choosing that. And this is the movie that has to build the bridge back to Halloween 4, which we already know takes place in 1988. This means movie 3 needs to answer one specific question. How does Michael find out Laurie died and that she left a daughter, Jamie, who's living in Haddonfield? Now, I think the answer is proximity. If movie 3 is set in a town closer to Haddonfield than the first 2, geographically, drifting back towards it the course of the trilogy without him consciously choosing to, it becomes a lot more believable that the local news article or radio report about Laurie's death and the daughter she left behind could cross his path. Not a deliberate search, not an old hospital contact tracking him down, just something he overhears or catches a glimpse of by accident because he happens to be close enough for Haddonfield's news to reach him. Small detail planted late in the movie right before the jump to Halloween 4. And suddenly, the reason he walks back into Haddonfield in 1988 isn't random. It's the first time in 10 years he has a reason to go anywhere. And that's my pitch for the H50 trilogy. A way to give us a new version of Michael Myers that's still built on the groundwork this franchise already laid without falling back into the same rinse and repeat cycle we've all grown a little too used to. So, with all of that being said, the 50th anniversary of Halloween isn't a moment to give us another version of a story we've already watched in 4 times. It's a chance to finally make good on the one idea this franchise floated and abandoned in 1982. A true anthology, one standalone Michael story, freed from Laurie, freed from Loomis, freed from Haddonfield's 46 years of baggage. Just the shape, a new town, nobody's coming to save them. That's a Halloween movie worth waiting 50 years for. I'm just saying. So, tell me what you guys think down below. What ideas do you guys have? What mistakes or things you think they should absolutely stay away from if H50 is being made? Let me know in the comments. If you've made it this far, I truly appreciate you taking the time to watch my video. Please consider liking, commenting, or subscribing. It really does help grow my little channel. Until the next video, stay curious and stay out the upside down. I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.